Good morning. We're back in the studio today with Andrew Paquette. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Kenton.
Andrew and I have kicked off a series of interviews and discussions here that have consecutively built on top of each other. And we're at our final episode here. Our last episode kind of covered this concept of a mixture of physical, spiritual dimensions in dreams. And then today we're going to talk to Andrew more about when dreams simply go towards the spiritual dimension and maybe not considered a mixture. Andrew, you want to take the topic?
Well, sure, I'd love to. The thing is that when I started recording my dreams 22 years ago, it was because of the verifiable physical content that they had. So dreams about future events that I would witness, or dreams of things that were happening at a distance, or even dreams of ghosts that in one way or another I was able to verify, although those tended to be pretty tough to verify because most of the ghosts I dream about I don't know, and so I have no way to contact anyone to verify them. But then there is a large body of dreams that are exclusively spiritual. So what that means is that they are spirit guides giving me lessons. They're angels giving me messages. I have literally dreamed of God, which I'm sure is kind of alarming, but I'll describe that in just a moment. And these dreams oftentimes really don't have any connection to what we would consider our physical concerns or our physical world at all. Sometimes they do, but the connection is not the kind of thing that is verifiable. They because what they're doing is they're looking at the physical universe as quite separate, quite small, quite different, and it's being looked at from this spiritual perspective. So instead of being the ant looking at the sky, it's the sky looking at the ant. And to me, these are the most powerful dreams. These are the dreams that I find are the highest quality, the most interesting, and frankly, the most challenging as well, to use one of your terms, Kenton. So the thing is that when I first started having dreams like that, the first time I actually saw God in a dream, strangely enough, was on a religious holiday. It was on Easter, when I was living in Los Angeles, Hollywood, when I was working in the film and game industry. And I really wrote that off. And I dreamed of Jesus as well a couple times, and the Pope, and I dreamed of various Indian swamis and Mother Teresa and various religious figures from different cultures whose names I didn't know. And I pretty much just ignored all those. I figured, well, that's just my mind recycling these ideas and slapping names onto them. It's not really a big deal. But then as I was able to validate my dreams better and better and better, I started realizing, no, wait a minute, maybe these really are who they seem to be. Of course, the dreams of God are a little bit separate because in those, this is, I even now feel kind of embarrassed to say this. I feel very strongly that they really are God, period. I am aware of the theory that a spirit can change its form so it looks like anything and be quite convincing that way. But I just don't see that being the case here. So let's talk about what kind of dreams they are. So angels I don't dream about very often. They're very, very uncommon. In fact, I would say only in a handful or so of dreams. Spirit guides are much more common. Spirit guides are spirits that are not associated with a physical body. This doesn't mean that they've never had one. Like, for instance, maybe they were incarnated 1,000 years ago or something. It's just that I don't know what the body is, and in my interactions, they're dealing with me exclusively as a spirit. So I consider them a free geist, or a ghost that is entirely unencumbered physically. And these generally are similar to teachers. So what will happen is I'll have a spirit guide will come to me and will help me do things. So for instance, a long time ago, I would have some spirit guides that came to me in my dreams, and they said, okay, it's time for us to show you how to leave your body spiritually. And I could actually see them around my bed, and they pulled me out of my body. It's the strangest thing at the time, but I'm kind of used to it now. And then they would take me places, and then they'd bring me back to my body, which I would see lying in my bed, and I'd see like a spirit guide on either side of it, and they'd help me back in. Now, I didn't always remember all of those elements, but I have on a few occasions, and I recognize that as part of that kind of experience. But to go a little bit further, then what would happen is the spirit guides would take me to places as they conducted what might be called a spiritual mission. So someone has prayed for help, and I would accompany a spirit guide to that person as that spirit guide gives help to that person, and I would be there to either observe or assist. And then there are other times when spirit guides would tell me to give the help, and I would. So this could come in the form of healing or advice. I would say more often it's advice, but it could be either one. And I have then independently also gone out and given this help. So that's another layer of a spiritual dream. But then we go beyond that, and we're no longer concerned with helping people who are on the earth or who are ghosts who are wandering around, because that kind of thing happens. And we get to dreams where we're dealing with God, we're dealing with the way we live our lives. So let me talk about one very powerful dream right now. I think that's probably all that you'll need to get an idea what I'm talking about here. This is probably the most powerful dream I've ever had in my life. Okay, it was a very amazing dream, and I had it when I was living in Phoenix, Arizona in 2005. What it was is in the dream I woke up and I was out in the desert just before dawn, and I looked up into the sky, and it was literally filled with an uncountable number of angels. Just you could not, they just filled the entire sky. Their skin was like literally like molten rock or molten coals or something like that. They were like on fire, except for the fact that the fire was more of a light than actual fire. They looked very, very fierce and very gentle both at the same time. And all of them were up there floating and saying the same thing, the same message to everyone in the entire world at the same time in every language that there was on the earth. And basically what it came down to was repent now and to do no more evil, because when the time comes for us to be unleashed upon the earth, everyone will know God is real. Everyone will remember all of their obligations. And at that point, you no longer have the opportunity to repent. That time will have run its course, which is a pretty powerful message. And as the thing is in the dream, as soon as I saw them, I remembered all that. I remembered, yes, God is real. Yes, this is what I was supposed to do with this life. Yes. And then I remembered this giant list of things where I messed up. I was thinking, oh no, I'm in trouble here. I better do that repent business that these guys are talking about. And at that time, I felt like I couldn't resist this. It was like I just felt pulled to the ground, and I had to worship God, and I did so. I just fell to my knees, and I just was praising God. Which, look, you don't know me. So it's kind of hard for you to understand how strange that might be for a person like me. But let's just say I'm not the kind of person who does that sort of thing ordinarily. Okay. And yet it was totally comfortable in this dream. It was like I completely recovered my memory, and this was a completely natural thing to do. And then the dream went on, and I didn't go into this in my book, but it showed me scenes of the future as well as the past that all had to do with various spiritual matters. And then I woke up. Now and it was very powerful. It was like the most vivid dream I've ever had in my life. Now the thing is after that dream, I had more dreams about that dream where I was told that it was important for me to tell people about that dream. And then I was shown other dreams that I'd had. It was a collection of about 6, and I was told these are all very important dreams, and it's very important for you to communicate those to people, which is one reason why I included all of them in my book. And I think the reason is just to get this message out that the time is right now to start living your life as well as possible, to stop doing things that you already know you probably shouldn't be doing, and to start doing the things that you already know you should be doing. Because that moment when it's too late, when all of a sudden you remember who you are and you remember your obligations to God, and you will be kicking yourself, just like I was in that dream, because you'll be thinking, "Oh, nuts! I should have stopped living this way just a little while ago, and I should have made this change in my life." But those spiritual dreams, to me, are so powerful and so vivid and so beautiful as well. It's a funny thing. I tell those to some people, and they get quite upset. They're like, "Well, that makes it sound like you've got this vengeful God idea going on, and like we'll all be harmed in some nasty way if we don't improve our lives." And I'm thinking, but you do understand what you're saying here. If you don't improve your life, why wouldn't you want to improve your life? It makes a lot of sense to me that you would want to do that to improve the quality of who you are by improving the way you live the life you have, which is ultimately, I think, a really good message and one that I find to be rather exciting. But the thing is, I can understand why people would think, well, but this is also taking some control away from us because now you're setting limitations on the way we do things. And yes, that's true, but on the other hand, to take away those limitations is also to add a different set of limitations, which excludes this other stuff. So it's really a choice. Do you want to live with this group of limitations or do you want to live with that group? And ultimately, I think that that is the really important message that I've received from my dreams. I understand it makes me look like what some might consider to be kind of a kooky fundamentalist religious person. I don't think of myself that way, but because this is just these are just the dreams I'm receiving, and the fact is they make sense to me, and I really don't see any harm in actually being an honest, moral person with my life.
Andrew, in your book, and I can't remember the exact quotes, maybe you can help me. You kind of sum this up and as a person who is shown the need to change or the capacity to change and who doesn't, that's the real error in life. If you know you need to change and you know the path to it, but you don't do it. Can you refresh my memory on there's a dream you had but was really concise with that statement?
Well, yes. Well, there's two. I mean, the most concise one, which you will see as a cartoon on my website
Yes, that one.
with the dream journal. Oh, okay. It is better to live a blameless life than to wish for and receive. Oh, great. Now I have to look it up. I'm sorry.
Let's look it up. Andrew's going
okay.
to go to his own website here, which gives me a chance to show it here. This is kind of the background, the drawings, the sketches, the clips from his diaries. It is a good companion to his book, Dreamer: 20 Years of Psychic Dreams and How They Changed My Life. I like the two of them together because there's a lot more illustrations, a lot of Andrew's work. Andrew's a graphic artist, illustrator, and it really does help in understanding his work to go to his website and to look at his journals and to see his illustrations. So are you
Okay.
ready with my quote?
Yes, I am. And what it is I had this spirit guide show up in this particular dream, and he held out his arm and pointed at a specific location in the Mundus Limas, that is to say, a part of Earth. It was a shanty town. I have no idea where, but probably Calcutta or someplace like this. A lot of poor people, basically living in filth and garbage. And he pointed to this little boy there, and he said, "It is better to live a blameless life than to wish for and to get a comfortable one." And the idea behind that was, no matter what you think makes your life comfortable, whether it's possessions or romantic involvements or success on a career level, what this guy was telling me was, it is the best thing is to live a blameless life. That is the real thing that you want to be shooting for. So he was pointing to this little boy in this shanty town surrounded by filth and muck and garbage and corruption and all these other things, who was blameless and who would remain so. And he was saying, this little boy, that's the real wealth. That's the kind of thing you want to be shooting for. He wasn't necessarily saying that all the other kinds of things were bad, but if that was what your life was centered on, then and you did not have this blameless life, that you accrued blame to yourself because you're uncharitable to other people, because you were dishonest, or because you were selfish. A lot of different kinds of things you can consider would make you accrue blame. If you had that kind of a life, it would not work in your favor. So he was saying, live a blameless life. Don't wish for a comfortable one. Just every day, with every thought, with every word you speak, with every deed you commit yourself to, make it blameless. This is the best thing you can do for your life. And frankly, I really find it difficult to argue against that.
I find it difficult too. I think it's a wonderful message. You can read through Andrew's work. You can take away what you want, but some of these really crystal clear messages transcend all aspects of your book. I mean, these sayings and some of the things that have come to you have stuck in my mind, and I find myself contemplating it. I thank you for your work, Andrew, and thank you for your interviews, and I've enjoyed it so much.
Well, it's my great pleasure, Kent, and thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.